Welcome to my review for the ENGWE P275 SE. ENGWE kindly sent me the bike to let me review it. This one was a first for me because it's the first bike I've actually used that looks like the old style traditional bike. Also, while I wouldn't say it's just for women, it is a very feminine style bike. Looks wise, it's not really one that I've been naturally drawn to because it is very feminine. It's got the old school big wheels with thin tyres. Although I do appreciate that not all e-bikes are designed for me. I think ultimately though, it is a good looking bike. Before I get started though, let's have a look at the bits. The bike has 27-inch sport wheels with CST tyres. The wheels also have a reflector and a white band that runs the entire way around the tyre, which is also a reflector, so nice and bright and visible at night. The bike has 160mm discs and hydraulic brakes. The bike has front suspension which is nice and comfortable. The bike has a 36 volt 13 amp hour battery. I was actually quite surprised because I got 31 mile out of it. It has an interesting feature: when it gets low on power it comes up with a 04 error and basically tells you that it's running out of battery, which is nice. The only thing I do have an issue with is that 04 error came up pretty late, so by the time it's warning you, you've pretty much run out of battery, and then the next time it goes up 04 it cuts off and doesn't come back on because it's actually run out of battery. But it's nice that it warns you. Obviously, in addition, you do have the battery meter on your actual LCD, which does give you an indication of your battery level. Speaking of which, the LCD is a very nice little compact screen. Very simple, very basic, but everything that you need. The bike has swallow style handlebars, which make it a nice comfortable riding position. It also has an adjustable stem, so you can adjust your handlebars however you want them really. The bike also has some nice looking rubber hand grips. The bike has a 7-speed Shimano Tony gear system. Nice, cheap, cheerful and reliable. The seat's a nice padded comfortable seat, no issues at all with that. Looks nice, feels nice, very comfortable. You also have a nice long chain guard, which I'm not sure is fully necessary, but it looks nice. The bike has nice and wide metal pedals. I like those. The bike has front and rear lights, both nice and bright, do the job. The rear light unfortunately isn't a brake light. The bike also has a nice sturdy rear rack, which is great for carrying your shopping and stuff on. You'll notice in the pictures that mine has the ENGWE bag on, which isn't actually part of the bike or package. That's an optional extra. The bag, along with a lock, rain cover and phone holder, are all part of package on ENGWE website, which is £109 to buy separately. I'll put a link in the description for package if you do want it. The bag's also really nice because it's very padded inside and the side compartments are open to make it panniers as well, so quite a lot of storage in there. The bike comes in a nice big box. It's really well protected and packaged. When you get it out of the box, you need to put on the front wheel, the handlebars, the pedals, the rear rack, the front mudguard and both lights. So I had the bike fully assembled, fully charged, ready to try. So what was it like? Now the thing is, when you go on ENGWE's website, they basically say it's the fastest reacting torque sensor and that's one of its main selling points. But a torque sensor is meant to be instant, right? Now you would think that all torque sensors are instant responses, but they're not. There's always a slight delay, some bit more than others. But on this I can't feel any delay at all. As soon as you move them pedals the motor kicks in. It's just effortless. This continues throughout the entire ride, like when you slow down and you start repedaling again, instant. And like I say, it's not like other torque sensors are bad, it's just that this one's better. And because of that, it's always helping you. There's never any even little delays. It's really, really good. When you get up to speed, it just keeps at the same nice, consistent speed. And it's a nice, gentle cruise. It's really nice to ride. It is restricted to 15.5 mph and you can't unlock it. or ENGWE say you can't unlock it, I've not found a way. But I don't think you need to. It's a nice, pleasant, comfortable ride. It's also a really quiet and smooth ride. There's not really much clanking going on. The mudguards are plastic, so it's really quiet. The tyres are nice and smooth. There's no tyre on the road kind of noise. So it's a nice, quiet and pleasant ride. The ride position is also really comfortable. It's easy to get on because it's a step-through bike, and it just feels a great position, especially with those handlebars that sweep back, so it's a nice way to hold it as well. For me, this is almost the perfect commuter bike. If you live in a nice place that's moderately terrained, this bike's really, really good. The issue is this bike isn't very powerful. It's got 42 Nm of torque and a 36 volt battery, which isn't a lot. But the truth is, as a commuter bike, it doesn't need to be powerful. It accelerates nice and well, it rides nice and smooth, it's got all the power you need. It's just not designed for big hills. Moderate hills it's fine on, but big hills is where it struggles. Now the thing is, as you know, I do my hill test with all my bikes, and this one didn't make it up the hill. It just didn't finish. Basically I got 3/4 of the way up and I got a 0-8 error. Now honestly, before I got anywhere near that hill, I knew it was going to struggle. Even bikes with 50-55 Nm of torque, they struggle on it, and on certain bikes you can hear the motor kind of working extra hard to get up the hill, and they do really slow down. When you get below 50 Nm, it really struggles, and you have to put in a lot of effort, which makes the motor under a lot of strain. Now the 0-8 error is actually the controller overheating. Now, I'm not really an expert on this, but when you're pushing a motor beyond its limits and you're putting a lot of pressure on it, I imagine that reduces its lifespan. With 42 Nm and 36 volts, that hill was way too big for the bike. I knew it'd be really, really hard for it to get up, and I'd have to put in a lot of effort and I'd be tired at the top. So it's not really designed for that. It's designed for flat ground, moderate terrain, hills here and there, like short burst hills, not long duration hills. Now when the 0-8 error happened, the bike got out completely. There was no power from the motor, and it just said 0-8 on the screen, and I was like, damn, I'm miles from home, how am I going to get it back? I waited for a while, and after 3-5 minutes, the 0-8 disappeared, the screen went back to normal, and the bike was fully functioning again. So it was basically just letting the controller cool down. Now, I'm not sure if it's a fault or a brilliant design thing, because if you're pushing your motor too hard, there's a chance you're going to break it. So would you rather the bike stopped you from breaking itself and turned off for a few minutes, or allowed you to push it beyond its limits and broke stuff? Because them motors aren't cheap to replace. So I actually think it's a really good feature, because it's telling you its limits and stopping you before you push it past them. So if you live in a really hilly place, this isn't the bike for you. It's just not. It's not that you can't do hills, it's just that it's not meant for extreme hills. Moderate hills, yeah, it doesn't have an issue with, but big, steep, long, constant hills, it's going to struggle. It really is. Now the thing is, when the 0-8 error happened, the bike stopped for like 5 minutes, but as soon as it came back on, I then proceeded to do another 20 mile on it and had zero issues at all. It rode perfectly, no faults, no issues. So it's just that hill that's too steep for it. The rest of the time it rode perfectly without any issues at all. I think the bike, although it looks like a bike, again with all these e-bikes, is not really meant to be ridden as a bike. It's not that you can't do, it's just that you wouldn't really want to. It's still quite a heavy bike, and it's quite a struggle riding without power. But with power, it's so nice. I think even though it failed on the hill test, I still have to really, really recommend this bike. The thing is that torque sensor is so responsive and it helps so much, and even though it's not really got a lot of power, it doesn't actually need it. You don't feel like you're missing it. It's quite possibly the nicest torque sensor I've ridden. It's so easy, so nice, so responsive, and if you live in a reasonable place without extreme hills, you're not going to have any issues at all. You're going to really like using the bike. It's really good. So yeah, this is a bike you've got your eye on and you like the style, you like the way it looks, feels like it's something that you'd enjoy. As long as you're in a moderate place, go for it. It's a really nice bike and you'll really enjoy it. Highly recommend. So once again, if you got this far, thank you for watching. Any questions, comments, put them in the comments, I'll get back to you on them. If you like the content I'm making, please do like, share and subscribe. It really does help. Also, I do have a member section now. If you do subscribe, it's like £2 a month. You get a nice little badge next to your name showing that you remember. You don't need to, but you can if you want to. I'll still answer the same questions whether you remember or not. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.